Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And it's time once again to police Twitter and inform people of when wrestlers are acting like little bitches on that social media make it giant. So Bray Wyatt is, you know, he's getting a lot of flack, which is not fair because this is not Bray Wyatt's segment, but they had the compound segment on Raw with New Day facing off against Bray Wyatt and his minions on the compound, and people made immediate comparisons to the final deletion in TNA with Matt and Jeff Hardy. So, of course, this is going to draw similarities because it's a blatant ripoff. It's nothing but that. Anybody, with half a brain who saw the final deletion would see this compound thing as a you know as a blatant ripoff. Now, if you didn't see the final deletion, you would think that this Bray Wyatt thing was something new, something cool, something different. It's still there was a couple of things there. It was uneventful. The final deletion was very eventful, but nothing happened. We all thought that maybe Xavier Woods, who's all scared of the Wyatts, would have got kidnapped or something traumatizing would happen to him. Instead, it's like they saw a couple of kids in goat masks and they're traumatized. What a load of bullshit compared to what we saw in the final deletion with the over the top spectacle of it all, the unexpected, the quotable lines. There's a comparison, but in the same breath, there's no comparison in terms of quality. In terms of actuality, you can compare them to the cows come home, and just about in every department, the final deletion will win. The only thing maybe that the Wyatts thing had, it was creepy, but it wasn't even that scary to be quite honest. They could have got anybody who's a little bit familiar. See, this is the thing. WWE has access, connections. McMahon has connections to Hollywood, to stars who've come on his show. It's like if they want to do something horror related, can't they contact so, one of like the experienced horror directors in in Hollywood? Is this like impossible for them to do? Why can't they become experts if they want to do a horror segment? Why not talk to some people in Hollywood? Why not talk to, for example, the director of Conjuring 2 or Insidious, for example? John Woo could probably show them how to, how to put together a scary segment. And why is this so far fetched? This is the WWE. This is the global force in sports entertainment. But we're not here to talk about that. Look at Bray Wyatt. So this ain't his segment. It's his segment. He starred in it. But obviously, the WWE creative team and McMahon came up with this. And we didn't see anybody falling down into shit and stuff like I was predicting. But it was an all right segment, but it's drawing a lot of comparisons. So of course Bray Wyatt gets on there. Whatever the hell his name is, Husky Harris. What's his real name? Rotunda. I forgot what his first name is, but anyway, so Bray gets on there and he says that Matt Hardy wouldn't have ever been broken if it wasn't for Bray Wyatt, and that like this was his concept and there's no comparison. And pretty much in not so many words, go on on Twitter, he kind of carefully said in a very politically correct way that that segment wouldn't exist without Bray Wyatt, which is a load of fucking bullshit. And right there, I lost a lot of respect for Bray. I was like, this guy is probably better on the mic. He's one of the few guys that actually has a character. He knows how to show personality on the mic. He's actually like an individual among a bunch of guys that look the same, and guys that have no charisma or character. You've got Sami Zayn and a bunch of other guys that just look like plain, as Kevin Nash said, vanilla midgets. And, I know that term is very insulting to many people, but let's be quite honest. Bray Wyatt stands out. It's kind of like you've got a bunch of robots that all look the same, and Bray Wyatt stands out among all the faceless drones. But the thing is, Matt Hardy is a veteran. Matt Hardy, paved the way for a lot of other wrestlers. All this fucking shit you're seeing Sami Zayn doing, the diving, the high flying and shit, all that stuff wouldn't have even been popular if it wasn't for the Hardy Boys. They popularized that shit here in the U.S. People are going to talk about the WCW Cruiserweight division, but let's be honest, the Hardys, the whole thing, the way how they dress. I remember it even in junior high and high school. All of a sudden, people wanted to look like the Hardys, like Jeff Hardy with the wristbands going up to the elbow. Let's be perfectly honest. These guys are superstars. And everybody liked Team Extreme. They thought it was probably one of the best put together things ever in WWE, pairing Lita, Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy. Everybody was talking about those ladder matches back in 2000. It goes without saying, these guys are legends. And if they ever come back to WWE, these guys should be inducted into the fucking Hall of Fame because they deserve it. And Bray Wyatt is saying that first of all, this was something put together by the Hardys, Billy Corgan, and Jeremy Borash. And basically, a lot of people got advanced copies of this. We saw the reactions online before people like you and I got to see it before it aired on Impact, and people were ranting and raving about it. And I said I think it lived up to the hype. If not, it was even better than I expected. So, of course, WWE probably got their hands, with everybody getting these advanced screenings. Maybe some people in WWE even got advanced screenings, or somebody, it might have fallen into the wrong hands of WWE, employees. And obviously, they saw it ahead of time. They set up the promo that they were going to go onto the compound right before Impact aired. Impact is on Tuesday. Am I wrong? And so they set it up on the Raw prior to that. And already we're seeing, this compound thing booked and ready to go. And the final deletion had already been shot. People had already saw it the weekend before the last Raw aired. So with that in mind, they copied TNA. There's no bones about it. WWE wasn't doing anything like that before outside the arena. They weren't doing anything like over the top. It's just somebody saw it in WWE. They saw the genius of it, the creativity, the effort. Like I said, whether or not you want to admit that you enjoyed the final deletion, you got to say there was more effort put into that than anything we've ever seen in WWE. Go ahead. Don't like the final deletion. Go ahead. Bash it all you want. Call it cheesy. Call it corny. Call it over the top. Call it whatever you want. But, you even call it the worst thing you ever saw. I've also seen that comment as well. But let's be perfectly honest. They put more effort into that than anything WWE has in years. There was effort there. If you're saying there was no effort put into that creativity, then you're you're just lying. Then it's dishonest to say that wasn't creativity. There wasn't effort put into that nearly 18-minute segment. I don't know what you're looking at. And I don't know. I guess it kind of maybe wore on Bray Wyatt. I guess a lot of fans maybe on Twitter were pestering him, and maybe throwing a lot of insults his way. Oh, you're a copycat, even though that was not Bray's decision. This was people in WWE creative saw something good and they wanted to copy it. Let's be honest, it's not the first time WWE has copied TNA. To all the goofballs out there who say that I'm a WWE fanboy, even though I don't even remember the last time I gave Raw a good review or a pay-per-view, a glowing review, but I'm just a WWE fanboy and I don't give TNA enough credit. Well, here's the credit. You see why I always said this? I always said that when TNA does something good, I'll praise it. They did something good, and am I not praising it to the fucking heavens? And I'm giving people a hard time, justifiably, people who are trying to lie, like what culture, like look, when I like something, aren't I going all out to try to promote it for them? I'm popping for it. I'm ranting, I'm raving, I'm marking out for it. So this is what you wanted. Oh, and I find it funny that a lot of those same people that wanted me to defend TNA, be the guardian angel for TNA, and just bash WWE to the heavens, and praise TNA to the heavens. I finally, go ahead and I start praising something, and then I don't know if it's the same people that are saying that they didn't like it, but I don't see the correlation. If you like TNA and you liked all the shit they did in the past, then you should absolutely love this segment. Like it should be like holy matrimony. You should want to marry this segment because it's the best thing they've done in their whole time. I'm not even gonna lie. All those Ultimate X matches and shit that looks like garbage, compared to the entertainment. I'm not saying the work rate or anything like that. I'm saying the creativity, based on, you compare the creativity and the entertainment value of any of the Ultimate X matches or the Six Sides of Steel, and it pales in comparison to the entertainment value of Final Deletion. The fact that you had that star power in there, the entertainment, the comedy, the unpredictability. You didn't know what you were going to see next. You didn't know what you were going to hear next. And people are quoting the shit out of it. I mean, like, there's many quotable lines, but anyway, I guess people on Twitter were blaming Bray Wyatt is basis, and he probably couldn't take it anymore. They're calling him a copycat for being involved in a copycat skit. It's not his fault, but still, that doesn't make it right. He's like raging out against it. He could say to the fans, well, it's not my fault that creative, put me in a storyline that's copying something TNA did. Instead, he's got to take a shot at Matt Hardy. Listen, Bray, it's not Matt Hardy's fault that there were better creative minds behind his segment than any of the creative minds behind any of your segments since you debuted. Bray, you're a talented guy. I've said it here for years, but the fact of the matter is, they've put you in some shit storylines. They've buried your ass. They could have, you're over with the crowd, but they could have put you over to the next level. Everybody, when you come out, the cell phones and shit like that, you know, um, you're a star. You're a star amongst a bunch of dull bulbs, pretty much. You're like a shining bulb here. Amongst like just a bunch of fucking stone faced nobodies. And but the thing is, you can't attack a guy like Matt Hardy, who's just he played his part well. They gave him a segment. What did he do? He did the best he could with it, and ended up becoming a modern day classic that's being praised by a number of individuals. And many people enjoyed this segment, and that's not Matt Hardy's fault that you're getting all that flack on Twitter. I don't see it. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to say that the segment was original that you were in? Don't try to sell the bullshit that came before the Final Deletion. They shot that after they saw the Final Deletion. They did a rush job to try to copy it, and because it's under the WWE name, they feel that it's superior. It doesn't matter how shitty it is. As long as it's WWE, McMahon's always going to think it's better. Hey, and I'm the first one. How many times have I said it? I even said it in my initial final reaction, my Final Deletion reaction. I even said it. TNA is a second-rate company. They ain't got no money. They don't even have a quarter of the budget of WWE to spend, and somehow, some way, even with all the resources of the conglomerate that is WWE, the monopoly of professional wrestling and sports entertainment, they still managed to put on a better segment and performance than anything they've done, in recent memory. So, to have Bray Wyatt come on Twitter and instead of praising the segment like everybody else, I don't know if he's trying to be a company guy and try to put down the TNA segment. I mean, come on. Have some respect for the legends that are Matt and Jeff Hardy. And I know there's going to be some goofballs here on this video. Oh, you think those guys are legends? Hey, yeah, I do. I do think that they're legends. Go back if you're 15 years old and you don't fucking know what the Hardys did for wrestling. They were some of the most over guys at one point. I mean, you're lying to yourself. They got some of the big pops. See, that what culture putting AJ Styles in the top 10, that's an example right there. The Hardys coming out on any given night was a better reaction than anything AJ did. They've got Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy and Lita, Team Extreme, got huge, massive pops. The crowd loved them. Everybody had signs from. They were wearing the shirts, wearing Jeff Hardy's symbol necklace. They were wearing the jerseys. They loved them. I can't even begin to tell you how many people came to the events dressed up as the Hardy Boys. These guys are legends. They were idols. And they still are to a point. People love them. Even when Jeff Hardy came out in the fucking Impact Zone in New Orleans, everybody knows who he is. If you've watched wrestling, you probably know who the Hardy Boys are. No, not the book characters, you goofs. I'm talking about the wrestlers. Anyway, I was very disappointed in Bray Wyatt, and at least Matt Hardy kind of joked it off with the whole Brother Nero thing. And, I got to say, from Matt Hardy, being a drugged up mess, getting himself fired in TNA back in like 2011. We got to praise Matt Hardy for, what he's doing right now. He's reinventing himself. He's not one of those guys who's refusing to grow, with the landscape around him. He's changing his character, changing his whole look, dyeing blonde into his hair. It's all like fucking damaged and all curled out. This guy is dedicated to his role, and I admire him. And Bray Wyatt, I don't know what the fuck your problem is, but get over yourself. Your segment was copycatted. I'm not blaming you. Maybe the goofballs in the IWC on social media, on Twitter, are giving you a hard time. But you don't. Why backlash against fucking Matt Hardy? What does Matt Hardy have to do with you? You guys are not even in the same fucking company. It's not his fault he was in the superior segment to yours. All right, motherfuckers. Bray, chill the fuck out, man. Man.